This video is called Nuclear Power Plants Are Heating Up the Oceans. Now, I find this very funny that there are oceanographers out there that believe that Fukushima is not even contributing one iota to anything detrimental to this planet. And I'm just a horticulturalist, and all I do is kind of put two and two together and actually get four, where those guys, I don't think they could do simple math. Now, the reason why I'm saying this, there is this null school, earth.nullschool.net, and it'll show you satellite feeds that are going to go give you all these different things about precipitation, cloud waters, and everything. But the one I find interesting is this one that goes to the sea surface temperature. Now, that's just the temperature of the ocean surface. Now, these are being, data is coming from satellites that are going around the Earth. Now, the one I'm interested in is this surface temperature anomaly, which is the difference in ocean temperature from daily average during the years 1981 to, ironically, 2011. So let's go to it and show you it. And the first one, now these are the anomalies. This is what is now with the temperature. Now this is right where Fukushima is. These are the currents, the ocean currents. And if you look at the anomaly, look at how hot the water is right over Fukushima. Now this is definitely, if you follow these currents, look at it, it's sucking it out and bringing it in here, and it's actually getting trapped in here. But look at this patch right here, is all because of Fukushima. Now, the reason why I say that is, if you look at where nuclear power plants are just in the United States, this is very interesting. This is why I can't believe the oceanographers can't put two and two together. Now, we're going to go right here where there's a few of them. This is Lake Erie. Now, not all these hot spots are coming because of the nuclear power plant. Like this one, if you look at, there's Davis-Besse and Perry Nuclear, which thank God they're shutting them down, unless they're idiots and reverse that, but they're going to be shut down. Now, if you look at where they are, this here, they match up perfectly where these hot spots are. So if you look at right beyond Sandusky, you could see how this little piece of land juts out over here, and it's right at the tip here, Davis-Besse. Now that's as close as we can get, but this little thing here is this right here, right? Boom. That's where Davis-Besse is. Now look at the other hot spot right over here. That's Perry Nuclear Power Plant. See, it comes out right beyond Cleveland as it's going up in there, which would be, here's the here's Cleveland in here, and this is where Perry is. So that matches up. Now, this one is not matching up with anything, and I think it's because it's an area that is just always, it's pushing that hot water and getting trapped in here. Now, let me show you a couple more. Figured out what this one was from, and that's actually Erie, Pennsylvania, and there are a ton of factories over there, And I'll bet you any money they're just dumping it right into Lake Erie, which is sad. So there is a lot of stuff going on in Erie, and that is the anomaly right here. So there's a reason for all this stuff, and I just figured that one out. This is Erie, Pennsylvania right here. That's why you got this hot spot in here. Now, if you look at these, Jenna, Nuclear Power, and 9 Mile Point, they're towards the end of this lake, which is right here. Here's Jenna. This would be by Jenna, and that's the other one right in here. Okay? Now, if you look at where these guys, what is this, Palisades? They're down towards the bottom of Superior, or actually Michigan, Lake Michigan, which would make it right around this area. Now, what I find interesting is the ones over here. Look at these little red spots. Now, this Pilgrim nuclear station, see how you got like this little boot or arm? That's this right here. Which would be right over there. Now you have these New York Power Authority. This is a nuclear imaging. There's New York Power Authority. And look at that hot spot right there. Here is Oyster Creek. Which is right by this hot spot. Now you've got a whole little mess of these. There's a nuclear testing center. There's this Hope Creek. And that would be, actually that would be up in this area in here. Actually that would be way up in this spot, and it's not showing enough detail. So if we go down, what's this one? That's Calvert Cliffs Nuclear Power Plant. And you've got this hot spot right in here. Actually, it looks like Calvert Cliffs is somewhere in here. Here's Brunswick Nuclear, which it looks like it's at right after this hump, which would be actually right over in here. So that might not be showing it, but look at how fast these currents are going. So in some areas I could see where it's not going to show it, but let's go on. Like Turkey Point, that would be a hard one to show up because look at how fast those currents are going. But if you go, this one is pretty obvious too. Okay, you got this area here, which is here. Then if you go up, this is that opening. So it looks like right in this area. Let's zoom in. That's Pensacola. Right in this area here. Because this opening here is that. This area is in here. And what do we have over here? Boom. You got GE generators. So even if they're not nuclear, they're still generating heat. And obviously they're either using it to cool or they're dumping it. And that's where these hotspots are coming from. Alright, we got something over in here. Which are hard to find, which it looks like it's this area here. So let's zoom in. Take a look at California. Now this is hard to find because all that water is just collecting up against the coast. But if you look at San Onofre, that looks like that will be, here's Los Angeles, so it looks like it's going to be down in this part right around here. Oh well. We'll return back to Japan because I just looked at this Onagawa nuclear power plant. So maybe it's possible that this hotspot, right, it's actually on this tip right there, right? That would be, boom, right there. So maybe this is Fukushima, Daiichi, and Daini that's warming this. And maybe this is Onagawa that's creating this mess over here. Now, it doesn't take a rocket scientist or even an oceanographer to figure out that everything is a mess. And the so-called oceanographer will never admit that nuclear power is not worth it, and there's nothing that is worth having it. There's nothing positive about nuclear power, and yet there's a huge negative. that it's possible that this is responsible for heating the oceans, and everybody's for climate change, and it seems like everybody's answer to climate change is all nuclear power is the answer to climate change and global warming. But well, maybe it isn't, and maybe nuclear power is actually the engine that's actually warming the waters. I mean, when you think about it, they're using how much water to cool the fuel rods and create that steam, and when it's used, I think it's 500,000 gallons an hour or a minute or whatever it is, that ends up being discharged. And maybe it's possible that this is the discharge after all those years, and it's an anomaly for a reason, because remember what the anomaly was. That means that it's the difference in ocean temperature from the daily average from these years. So I'm thinking it's from 2012 to present. That's why it's been that much warmer, is because of what it's happening. Now here's the other nuclear power stations and plants. Look at, boom. Look at this hot spot right here. That would be this one right here. Right? And here's this area is here. This tip is right there. And I won't even pronounce that. This right here is in between this island and here, which is this island and here. So I'll reiterate one time. I am a horticulturalist, not an oceanographer. And if I can figure this out, I think those guys have got to go back to school, or maybe give up their trade, or they have ulterior motives saying that Fukushima, there's nothing wrong with it. Nobody died from it, and it's not causing the event that is, I mean, look at with your own eyes. Open up your own eyes, people. This is proof that nuclear power plants are warming the oceans and contributing to the heating of the oceans. I mean, if you look at this, how can't they get it? Now I'm going to just go through a couple more because it's obvious. This one right here is right here. Boom. Hotspot. Boom. Hotspot. Look at this big cluster of them in here. And look at this is cooler. And then this is where those are at. Boom. Hotspot. Let's bring this one down because I wouldn't doubt if there's going to be some popping up over here. Oh, yeah, there you go. Let's move the, okay, we've got this one and this right here. This is crazy. Shika. Boom. Anazuka. That would be like right over in here. Boom. Look at this one. Kashawakzika. Karawia. I know I'm butchering that up, but look at where that's placed. right there. Boom. Hotspot. Let's bring this down. And I bet you, without even looking at it, hotspots, boom, boom. And let's go further up. And they got one up in here, which is going to be the tip. Boom. Boom. Oh boy, look at this. Tomari. Boom. Boom. Let's bring one over here. Oh boy. I mean, this is sickening. The more you look at it, the more it's obvious. Look at Fuji Electric. That would be right here. Boom. Let's bring this down. What do we got over here? Here's an agricultural machinery manufacturer, so that's not going to be... Oh, what do we got here? Because this matches that hotspot. I can't read what that is. It's a utility company. Boom. Let's bring this down. Alright, you get the message. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist or an oceanographer. I guess all it takes is a horticulturalist to figure this stuff out. What do you think? I think I'm right.